Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This is from a guy, he is 24 years old, and he shares his story how just recently, within the last few months, he dodged a big one. How he almost got married to this gal who completely was just taking advantage of him in every way, shape, or form. And not just her, but also her family. It was a really bad situation that he got himself into, and thank the Lord, this guy finally saw the light at the last minute, escaped from the situation, kicked her and the family to the curb, and is now doing well. And he's only been following my work for a month, and this is the channel and all the video topics that I do, the stories you guys send in, your comments has really helped this guy along, so it's really great to hear. I'm doing this one as yet another example, and I do a lot of these examples of what happens when these young guys do not have not only a father, but a masculine role model. Because you're going to see in the story, guys, he grew up without a dad. He lives in a very conservative area. I think he described it as the Bible Belt. And obviously, different things are a little different there, obviously, in terms of values and all that stuff. And sadly, a lot of the old-fashioned values don't really connect with the attitude of our modern society, our Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0 society. And this guy had no masculine role model to tell him how things really are in the world on many fronts, about standing up for yourself, self-respect, self-worth, trying too hard, putting people on a pedestal, that type of thing. He didn't have this, and unfortunately, he's taken advantage of. So this is yet another story that shows a guy makes all the mistakes. The reason he makes all the mistakes is he doesn't have that guidance from a young age, and is fortunately able to get out of it in the right time. And now he's on the path of improvement, which is awesome. So if this guy's story can help some people out there to maybe relate to something like this, or help them that one day if they find themselves in the same situation, they don't act like he does, it's worth it. So he starts off, he says, Dear SSM, I want to start this off by saying thank you for everything that you do for young men everywhere. I've been following you for roughly a month now. The end of my story happened only a few months ago, at the end of 2021. Had I still been in that position, the moment I came across your channel would have prompted me to end the relationship. Well, bro, I'm so happy that the bad situation is over. I really am. And I'm glad you found my work, and I'm really happy to hear it helps you out. And thank you for your support. The best way you can thank me, bro, and all you guys watching, is to share my channel with everybody you know. Anybody that will actually like it. You know, don't send me to somebody that's going to obviously hate my guts and send me hate email. I have enough of that shit I got to deal with. He says, the beginning is both long and short. I was raised in a conservative Christian household in the Bible Belt, raised without a father in my life. I met my then girlfriend in high school. We were both in the 10th grade at 14 years old. We stayed in contact and dated long distance throughout high school because her family moved to the other side of the state. That was how it went for quite a while. The occasional date, but mostly talking on the phone. Well, bro, you were in high school. There was girls everywhere. I don't see why you didn't just say, you know what, we're hours apart. Let's just part ways here. It's not like you were married or anything like that, And you obviously weren't together that long. And I'm sure you got good qualities and you're a good-looking guy. You could probably get other girls, but you see how this happens to people, guys? Long distance doesn't work. I mean, there are some exceptions, okay? But even then, one has to question what was going on behind the scenes. And you can't help but make those questions, But it's always best to just part ways, and maybe you connect later on in life. But just long distance is not a good way to go. But he learns. Now I need to give some context about my ex, things I didn't learn until last year. She's autistic and needs lots of help. You didn't know she was autistic to up until just a year ago? Her father invited me to move in with them at the start of 2021. We were both 23 at the present. I agreed, thinking me and her were perfect for each other. The plan was for us to get married and save up to buy a house of our own, but then the issues started. So everything was okay when you saw her on occasion, but once you moved in together, then you saw then her real true colors you were starting to see. Shocker. I'm used to taking care of myself, cooking for myself, doing my own laundry, and cleaning up after myself. What I did not expect, though, was that I'd be also taking care of my ex and her family and their pets. It's not your job. They're grown-ass adults. They should take care of themselves. Problem is that you obviously don't think too highly of yourself, otherwise you wouldn't do what I know you're going to do. You would have You wouldn't have been in this situation to begin with, let alone moved in and you would just said right away, I'm not taking care of the family, the pets, the girl. You're all adults. You can take care of yourselves. He goes on, my ex's father worked, making good money, but working long hours. No one else worked at the time except for her older brother. During the first month, I started to learn what was expected of me on a daily basis. What was expected of you? If you're a grown-ass man and you obviously you have a job, you can get your own place, why would you subject yourself to this? But we know why. Doesn't think too highly of himself. Doesn't have a whole lot of self-esteem, self-worth, because he wasn't molded in that way. I landed a job where my ex worked. Big mistake. And since she refused to learn how to drive, I was expected to take her to work every morning. While I worked second shift, so I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, take her to work, and then come home to sleep. Smack. You are being taken advantage of. No guy should allow themselves to be that way. Hasn't she ever heard of Uber? Maybe her dad, who makes good money, can make arrangements to have her taken somewhere. Or maybe she can find a way to learn to drive. How about that? He says, I wake up and go to work and usually come home around 1 a.m. Between all this, I was expected to help clean the kitchen, walk their dogs, feed the outside dogs, and clean up on the weekends, and to go help do the lawn work. Why are you expected to do this? Why can't she walk the dogs? Why can't she clean the kitchen? Why can't she feed the outside dogs and clean up on the weekends? What about the father? What about the brother? They got themselves a servant. You moved in and became the servant. Totally taken advantage. You should have gotten this situation to begin with, let alone once you moved in and saw what things really were like. Should have been like, see ya. Have a nice life. But a lot of people have to go through so much pain and bullshit till they finally wake up and see the light. Now, none of this is an issue for me except for the fact that the dogs belong to her two younger siblings, an 18-year-old male and 16, who refused to do anything around the house. They would leave dishes and trash everywhere, and me and my ex were expected to clean up after them. Smack. I can't believe you're putting up with this shit. Oh, an 18-year-old male and another 16-year-old can't feed the dogs or take them for a walk. They're incapable of doing that. What a load of crap. They're playing you for a fool, dude. It was exactly a month to the date that I'd been up there with my life when my life took a sudden change. Life hit me like a truck. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I was exhausted and driving her to work when I ran a stop sign and slammed into the trailer of an 18-wheeler that had been moving through the intersection. My car was totaled and my hip was broken. Holy shit, bro. You're lucky you weren't killed. During the 5-month-long recovery, my eyes were open to how my ex really was. She did nothing but whine and complain about working longer to help support herself and me, and to help me up into the bathroom. When you break your hip, you cannot bear weight on it for at least 3 months. Imagine how I felt, vulnerable, with what I thought was the love of my life treating me like a burden. Yeah, imagine that. You break your hip, you're up early with no sleep to take her ass to work because she refused to learn how to drive, and you allowed that to happen, being taken advantage by her family, and you get in this accident, and now you need them to help you, maybe to return the favor. She can show some loving support, and she's pissed off about it, and you're a big burden. Again, more signs as to what these people are, what she's like and her family's like. Now, any guy that had been raised by a masculine man to learn about laying out boundaries and having respect for oneself and all that would never tolerate any bullshit like this. This is why I talk all the time, almost every video, about guys improving themselves, making them to be the best they can be, the best versions of themselves through taking action to improve all areas of their lives. Because when you do that, when you improve yourself, when you're feeling good and saying, look what I achieved there and look what I achieved there, I'm feeling top of the world, you're not going to take shit from anybody. But on the other hand, if you feel like crap about yourself because you've nothing going on, you'll just take the scraps. You'll just take whatever anybody will give you in terms of lousy friends, lousy girlfriends, lousy family members. You get lousy paying jobs because you don't think you can get any better or deserve better. See what I mean? Through constant self-improvement, making your lives better, you feel better, you have confidence, you have feeling good. You would never allow this. I know I'm a broken record on this subject, but I have to keep hammering this in to help people understand. Great girl, dude. Anyway, time went on, and slowly I was able to walk again, and even return to work. on the first shift this time, but things were different. During those 5 months of recovery, there have been multiple arguments breaking out between me and her family. I was getting tired of being treated like a servant, so I started going back home on weekends just to see my own family. My ex's father didn't like this, and slowly he started to backtrack on some agreements that we had made before I moved up there. These people are leeches. Who the hell are these people? The agreements were this: she would not live in the same room with me until we were married. This was due to personal beliefs, and that room being the only place I had an ounce of privacy. Number 2, before we were to be married, my ex's father had control of her bank account since she was horrible at spending money. Well, there's a whole other reason why you wouldn't want to be with her. She's terrible with money. These are all things you learn about before you say I do. If you are a guy that works hard and puts away money and you're trying to build wealth and you're smart with money and you're frugal, you don't piss away on BS, and meanwhile your girl does the exact opposite, that's not going to work. She's going to hold you back from ever reaching your financial goals. Once we were married, he would renounce that control. Bullshit. It was November. I foolishly proposed to her and we were officially engaged. Smack. After all that shit, you proposed to her? Come on, bro. What the hell? Seriously, I know you were young and inexperienced, no role model around, but seriously, this is why guys need my work. This is why guys need that masculine role model. This is also why guys need a smack upside the head every so often. After that, he started to talk about keeping control to be sure that we were saving up for a house. This guy is a user. He's a control freak, and I can go on and on about what this guy's like just based on your story here. He says, I didn't like this. Combined with my ex acting like a child, it was too much. I told her numerous times that I wouldn't marry a child and I would leave. Well, good for you for saying something at least. The family never thought that I would, though. They didn't think that because your actions show they can push you around. They didn't believe you. These are bullies. They're leeches. Remember I told you guys, certain behaviors will attract people into your life that are users and people take advantage of you. This is why you have to be strong and stand up for yourself, not put that vibe into the world. I was constantly reminded about how much better off I was living up there with them than with my own mother. Pfft, please. I admit the house was nice, safe, and secure compared to where I grew up and where my mother lived. There was one thing, though, that they didn't have: happiness. I never seen such a dysfunctional family where everyone screams it and yells at each other. There you go. Another reason why, again, you take a long time before you get serious with a woman to even consider marrying her and all that. You also observe what her family's like. And if their family is just never-ending drama and they're yelling at each other and screaming at each other and all that, and it's really ugly, that's going to become your life. That's going to become your family. And that's what she'll be used to. And that's what your house will be like with your kids and all that. You really want that? This is why I tell you, see what she's like with money, see how she is with communication, see what her family's like. And if they all don't work out, then you leave. No matter how much fun you think you have with her, how cool you think she is, that'll be your life. It's not worth it. And there are plenty of guys out there that have been married and divorced and went through the same shit that will agree with me. I went home on Christmas Eve to visit my family, and I was taking a bath on New Year's Day when it happened. It felt like I was struck by another truck, but everything clicked. I saw it all with a new clarity and realized that I was in a one-sided relationship and that marrying her would be the biggest mistake of my life. Hallelujah, it's a Christmas miracle. So I called and ended it on New Year's Day. Now, 6 months later, I'm starting to focus on myself, get back into shape, eating healthier, and picking up my life after the wreck and setting myself up for a career. Well, bro, that is great to hear. This is a quick one, guys, but the point is that he's still young. He's 24. Bro, you got your whole life ahead of you. Your whole life. You're 24. You're 20 years younger than me, okay? I'd give anything to go back and be 24 again with the knowledge I have today. Holy shit. That would be fantastic. But I can't go back in time. I can only use what I had to better my life. But I can help you guys out. You got your whole life ahead of you. So here, it's great that you're working on yourself. It's great that you're going back to the gym, eating healthy, all that stuff. Keep doing that. Keep watching my channel, watching all these videos to keep reinforcing these things so you don't make the same mistake again, because life will test you. Down the road, situations will occur where you may do the same things you did before with this girl and her family and be taken advantage of. Mark my words, it will happen in the future. Don't let it. So keep watching my channel, listen to all these stories, and they'll just become, you'll get so used to hearing these stories that as a situation arises, you'll know what to do. Also, I'm not the only game in town. There's other channels out there that have good stuff, so watch them too, read some books, and really dig deep as to why you've had throughout your life this pleaser mentality and allowing people to push you around, take advantage of you. Really dig deep to figure that out. And when you figure that out, you'll be a different man, But I want you to keep doing things to improve yourself, improve your life, and all fronts: your health, your body, your friendships, your job, putting away money, building wealth, investing in areas you feel comfortable with, because everybody's different in terms of their comfort level, in terms of investments and all that, and go from there. And when the time comes when you are interested with being with another girl, hopefully you have learned all these things, not make the same mistake, because if you don't, you'll be taken advantage of again. And for all that is sacred and holy, do not talk to this girl and her family ever again. Block them on all fronts. It's over. And I'm sure she's tried to reach out to you before. I'm sure her father probably tried to reach out to you before, making you feel bad or making threats even, because that's what it sounds like he's like. Block them all, have nothing to do with them, because they're only going to bring you down. And then go from there. So you can do it, man. I have seen plenty of situations throughout my life of worn down guys, been pushed too far, and they turn their lives around, and they're night and day, okay? And plenty of stories of guys that you've, I'm sure, heard some from guys that were just like you, taken advantage of, worn down, saw the light, and they're brand new men. Born again, if you will. Born again hard. Born again RP. So I hope that will happen to you. So let me know how you're doing down the road. I hope everything is going well. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let this guy know what you think. And also, guys, if you've got a really good personal story you'd like to share, something that you've overcome, just like this guy, or something you're currently going through, or I don't care if it happened last week or it happened 25 years ago. If it's a good story, that would be great for the channel. Email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just make sure you write out really easy for me to read. That's key. A lot of you guys jam all that together, and I don't know where one sentence begins or ends or any of that. And also this goes for good articles or story as well. Just remember to include the link to the articles. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.